All right, today I'm going to talk about the detailed drawing. So this is an assignment for the Beast. This is the third assignment out of 9 for the Beast. I'm going to be asking you to create a detailed drawing of the artwork that you chose for the Beast. Now, some people love to draw, some people hate to draw. So why am I asking you to draw your chosen artwork? And so the reason why is that I believe that looking closely at your object is a type of research. You notice more by drawing something than just by looking at something. So by to look at it and then to translate it into a drawing, a work of art, I think you will get an added benefit out of it. You'll see more of the details. You can see the textures, you can see the colors more than just by looking at it. So what you're looking at is an article written by an art historian in which she would draw the artworks that she was studying, and that would give her a better understanding of the artworks. And then she would make notes as to what she was discovering from these. And also, by looking at the artworks and drawing them, she's able to show more than what the camera could show. So, for example, these marks right here on the artwork's chest do not show up in the photograph, but they show up in as she was looking at the artworks. So you're going to be using the artwork that you chose for the choose your artwork assignment for the Beast. So step one is start drawing your artwork. And a lot of people will be looking at their computer screen while they're working on or drawing from their object. And that's certainly fine. You can certainly work from the reference of the photo of your artwork. So I want you to draw on non-lined paper. You can draw on your sketchbook. You can draw on copy paper. You can draw on art paper. But definitely do not draw on lined paper. That will not be accepted. You can draw on pencil. You can draw with colored pencils. You can paint. I also had somebody use marker this last semester. And you are certainly welcome to trace if you want to. So you can see in this photograph, the student has taped up the artwork on the computer screen and they are tracing it. That's certainly allowed. This is unacceptable. So, because I'm allowing you to trace, I should not see images like this. Try your best. And if you have a very complicated artwork like this one right here, you are certainly welcome to just focus on a small part of it. If you're overwhelmed by how complex it is, choose a small part. That'll be fine. You can draw that section, or you can draw that guy, or you can draw those people right there. All right, the next step is after 1 hour of drawing, take a photo of your artwork. And I suggest setting an alarm when you start your drawing. I'm going to give you specific instructions in a minute on how to photograph your artwork. But for this part right here, just set it up close to a window, have that natural light coming in from the window, and take a picture of it. So here's an example of an artwork that a student was working on. They took a picture of it after 1 hour, and then they took a picture of it when they were finished. All right, the next step is to finish your artwork. So here she is finishing her artwork. And so here's a couple of examples of finished artworks from my students. If your drawing skills are not as honed as this, don't feel bad. This is above normal. This is above expectation. This one right here. Here's another example of a finished one. And then also, these two artworks are not finished. You are certainly welcome to, when your 2 hours is up, you can stop drawing. You don't have to finish the artwork. You can if you want to, but once you hit those 2 hours, you're certainly welcome to stop drawing. So here's a couple of examples of a student that stopped drawing at the 2 hour mark. Here's two more examples of students that stopped at the 2 hour mark. Step 5, after you're finished with your drawing at 2 hours, or you're certainly welcome to draw for more than 2 hours, but the 2 hours is the minimum. Take a photograph of the completed artwork. And if you're shooting indoors, here's a couple of suggestions. I want you to use soft diffused light. Now, if you look at the photograph here on the left, photographers, professional photographers, spend a lot of money on special equipment to get that diffused light. You can get that same diffused light for free just by using the window. So if you have a window that's close to a wall, or you can set up a situation where you can take a picture vertically next to a window, then do that. So here's an example of somebody setting up their artwork next to a window and then photographing the artwork. Now, this is a very common problem with students that turn in this project, is that they're photographing their artwork indoors. That's fine, but they're using the light that is in the ceiling. So they have their artwork flat on the bed or on a table, and then their shadow is cast on the image down below, and so you can see the shadow of the person taking the picture. This is not professional. I don't want to see this in your photographs. Here are some suggestions if you're shooting outdoors. Shoot in the shade. Do not have direct sun on your artwork. And then a cloudy or an overcast day is ideal. If it's a clear blue sky, like no clouds at all, chances are you're going to have this bluish light in your photographs. Set up a quick studio. It doesn't have to be anything elaborate at all. So you can, if you're looking at this image right here, they have set up like an igloo and then a board, and they attach the artwork to the board. You can do something similar. The closer that you can get the artwork to eye level, or to get the camera down at eye level with the artwork, the better. So it's important to raise the level of the artwork. You can set it on a table with a board or something of that nature. If your artwork is vertical, this is a vertical picture, then you're going to hold your camera vertically. If your artwork is horizontal, then you're going to hold your camera horizontally. Then imagine the center of your artwork. So it's halfway down, halfway across. That's the center of your artwork. And then imagine the center of the lens being directly above the center of the artwork. That is the best way to photograph the artwork. That'll keep this keystoning effect from happening. This keystoning effect, where the side of the artwork and the side of your photo, they're not parallel. It warps your picture a bit. So by having the center of your lens directly over the center of the artwork helps you to keep from keystoning, and you have these parallel lines on the side. It doesn't warp the artwork. So you can adjust by tilting and raising and lowering your camera over the center of that artwork, and that'll keep it from keystoning. Another thing is to check your photograph to make sure it's not too dark like this one. This is one that was sent in by a student. This is too dark. All right, there's different formats of the pictures. If yours says HEIC or HEVC, the HE stands for high efficiency. That doesn't work. It's hard to copy, it's hard to upload, it's hard to see. And when students turn in that HEIC photos, I can't see them. So stick with JPEG or PNG. And then the next step is I want you to crop the photo of the finished drawing. So you're going to turn this into this right here. Notice how you don't see the edge of the paper anymore, that you've zoomed in right on the artwork. And then take a photo of your artwork and the art supplies and the area around the artwork. So the photograph should look like this. It should have your artwork, the tools that you use to make this artwork, and then also the area around it. You're going to create a PDF document with all these photographs. So you'll go into D2L and go into the Beast. In this tab, there'll be instructions, which is what I'm showing you right now. And then there'll be an example for you to look at. And then I have a template for you to use. Here's what the example will look like. What you're turning in is 4 pages. So here is the original artwork. Here is your photo after 1 hour. Here is the final drawing that you did. And then here is your photo with the art supplies. Remember to replace my last name with your last name. Anytime you use a title, put it in italics. So this will be a high quality photo of your artwork. This will be a high quality photo of your drawing of your artwork. And you don't have to crop this one. Make sure that it's right side up. And then here is the final drawing, all right, the 2-hour completed drawing. And you are going to crop it, and remember to keep it right side up. And then here is a photograph of your drawing with the tools that you used to create your drawing. And do not crop this. Make sure it's right side up. Here is a student's assignment that she turned in. So here is the original artwork. Here is a photograph of what it looked like after 1 hour. Notice that it's not cropped. And then here is the final 2-hour drawing. And notice that it is cropped. And then here is the photograph of the original, of the drawing, and the tools that they used to create the artwork. Please remember to make sure your artworks are right side up, and then you're going to submit your PDF document into D2L. And so you'll submit it there. For grading for this, if you turn it in on time, it's 100. If you turn it in late, it's a 50. If you don't turn it in, it's a 0. And if your drawing looks like you spent less than 2 hours on it, points will be taken off when I grade the final product. Once again, finally, what do you mean by late? You have a 23-hour grace period after it's due. So beginning with less than an hour late up to 23 hours late, you have that extra time to turn it in, and I will accept it as on time. Once it says 1 day late, I count it late. Okay, if you see an 11.11, that is the code for CME. There's something really wrong with this, and I need to talk to you and explain it. It's too much to type it in for the corrections, all right? So I'll need to, and then if you make changes and turn it back in and it's still a problem, it's a 12 by 12, that's a code that you need to see me, and so on. So, but once you get it fixed, it'll be 100 or 50 or whatever it is, all right? All right, that is it for, are there any questions about this assignment?